I woke up in the morning and at first I didn't realize anything was weird, cause it was like 6 a.m. and I was still half asleep. But after showering for school and waking up a bit, I noticed that there was something weird about my mom. Then I realized it wasn't my mom, it was my dad, but he had my mom's face. I was gonna say something, but then my little brother got up and was like, "Good morning, Dad," like everything was normal. Then, before I had time to process everything, I had to leave for school. Everything was fine at school and I even almost forgot about it, but when I got home I saw my dad again, still with my mom's face. Then my mom walks in and starts talking to him, and she has his face. At this point, I'm just dumbfounded. I have no idea what's going on. So I just sit down and start doing my homework, and when my little brothers get back from school, they just act like nothing is wrong, so I just decided to go with it and not say anything. I mean, I didn't want them thinking I'm crazy or anything. Woke up the next morning and everything's back to normal, but I still have dreams about it sometimes. When I was a little baby in elementary school, the school bully was about to kill me by way of drowning in the toilet. Not even being dramatic, he had a plan to take my life for little reason other than being upset with his own. So he yanks me into the bathroom because he was huge and seemed more like a high schooler and gets ready for the deed. A voice speaks up from the stall on the far right of the bathroom. "Hey boy, I know what you're doing in there." The bully seemed to turn ghost white and shoved me to the floor and ran out of the bathroom. The voice tells me to get up from the ground because that's no place for someone like me. Meanwhile, as this man is explaining that I seemed like a good kid and would probably get far, I was looking around the stalls trying to figure out who it was. I come to his and he's still talking. "Push the door." Locked. I looked under the stall and there was no one in there. At the same time, the voice had finished telling me what it seemed to want to tell me. I didn't hear it again, and I have no idea how to explain it or how the bully stared in the direction the voice was coming from. A female friend in college disappeared from a party at another university. She had arrived with another friend who I believe had driven. At some point she split off to play cornhole or something and was later inexplicably gone. Phone calls went to voicemail, police were called, but she was simply missing. She was found by a homeless man who witnessed her crawling up to a bus stop in the city, begging for help. She had broken a leg and an arm, and was in very bad shape. At the party she had her drink secretly drugged and was then led off by a group of men. She was taken to an apartment where she was drugged, repeatedly, and locked in a small room in between with a bucket to use as a bathroom. At one point, after being injected with heroin, she somehow convinced them to let her use the bathroom to clean herself up. This bathroom had a small window. She managed to squeeze out and fell from the third story into a large bush. From there she crawled from the apartment complex to the road and bus stop, where the homeless man saw her. 3 men were later arrested for the crime after CCTV allowed police to locate the apartment which she jumped from. This happened almost 2 years ago. It was almost 2 in the morning in the summer. My blinds were cracked, but my room was on the 2nd floor of the house. I woke up to the sound of my phone vibrating against my pillow. It read, "No caller ID." I don't remember why, but I feel like I need to answer it. "Hello?" A man's voice that I did not recognize replied after a solid few seconds. "Are you alone?" I couldn't think of what to say. I didn't say or do anything for a few minutes. I couldn't put a face on into the voice. It was low and grumbly. Finally, I said no and hung up. Seconds later, I heard the sound of my doggy door downstairs opening. You know the sound. My dog was in bed though, now moving towards me after I woken him up. The doggy door closed. I sat in the unsettling silence waiting for the sound of the footsteps coming upstairs. But nothing. I was only 4 years old and I was playing outside with my siblings and neighbors, and while they're busy playing, a lady approached me and asked me would I like to go with her. Being a kid, I had no idea what to say. I said yes and she took me to her place. After a while, everybody was freaking out and they started looking for me everywhere. This lady was severely depressed. Her husband left her after their son died. He couldn't handle her depression apparently. She took me to her place, fed me, and gave me tons of candy. For a couple days. She also made me wear her deceased son's pajamas. She used to treat me like I was her last son. At some point, she took me to buy some candy from the store. The store owner knew her, so he reported that to the police. She didn't hurt me at all. The doctor even said I was well fed. I know it must be terrifying for my parents at the time. I always think of her and pray she's in a better place now, even try to go visit her when I was older. Her house was sold. Maybe she moved away. I bought a new house for cheap because a serial killer once lived there. Although the agent assured me 4 other owners had been happy in the house, after a week I stopped loving it. I just had this feeling that someone was always watching me. That's when I heard more about the killer. Legend says he has such severe narcissism that he couldn't fall asleep unless he felt watched. He was eventually arrested for putting up a scarecrow to watch him at night made from a 17-year-old's corpse. One morning when I was cooking breakfast, strangely I felt watched. So instinctively, out of fear, I grabbed my kitchen knife and threw it at the wall. As I pulled it out, I was staring at a pair of eyes pickling in formaldehyde. I've been watching the police peel away my drywall in my house for hours now. So far, they found 142 pairs of eyes in little glass jars. The scariest thing is each and every one of them were staring at me.